Hey, what's up? Welcome to Rocktales. This will be actually number 10. I'm finally back on track with the whole thing. All right, so this has to do with who didn't love roller skating when you were a kid, right? Well, we used to go in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and everybody in middle school would go roller skating on a Friday night and throw down to Run DMC, and you have your Van Halen, and they'd play Pat Benatar, and then the song was called Cherokee. It was like a funk group tune. I can't remember who did that. But then you'd bust into your ballad, and you'd be trying to couple skate with the girl that you had a crush on with, and maybe Peter Cetera would be on. But anyways, all those jams would be happening, and I was already like playing guitar and was totally submersed into the whole music thing. But on Friday nights we'd go roller skating, right? And roller skate to the jams, and go there every Friday night. And then what would happen was, at this roller rink, after we were done skating, a bunch of people would stay and we would play roller hockey afterwards, which was a blast. They were all 13 years old and we'd play roller hockey. So much fun. And back then you'd get out of there at about, probably after you're done with the skating thing and then the roller, hockey, probably be out of there like 10:30, and you'd be on your way, Well, I'd always have to find my way home. I'd usually just walk home, which was like a couple miles. But back then you didn't have to worry about so much, I guess, in my neighborhood of getting kidnapped. However, somebody did try doing that to me when I was real little. And I will tell you that story later, because they did, but they got caught. And it was a whole other crazy story, which I will have to definitely tell you about. Holy shit. But so anyways, we would stay, we would play the roller hockey, and week after week. And this one night, the rink guard, who was the referee for the roller hockey and all that, and he was also the rink guard earlier. The other night I was walking, he's like, "Hey man, you need a ride home?" And he had this old pickup truck. And I was like, "Sure, that'd be great." I didn't feel like walking that night, and it was 10:30 on a Friday night, and I was 13. I got in the truck, and on the way home, he decided to pull into a Burger King, and he pulled in, and from under the seat, he pulled out a silver pizza plate, and it was round silver pizza plates, because he must have had it from the roller rink. They served pizza there. And he looked at me, and he pulled out a bag of weed, and he's like, "We're gonna roll a Whopper." We're at the Burger King parking lot, and I'm like, okay. I knew what weed already was. Everybody did. Everybody who thinks their kids don't know what weed is, even at that age, your kid is heavily guarded, or you're living under a rock. Especially nowadays, kids know what that shit is. I knew what weed was when I was in 2nd grade. I mean, everybody does. It's just ridiculous how people think their kids are angels, because they're not. But anyways, so he rolls the Whopper. This point now, it's like entering probably like 11:15. We were at the entrance of South Park, which is like this really cool spot. Everybody would hang at the McDonald's and all that. So we're across the street at the Burger King. He rolls the Whopper and he fires it up, and I'm like, I don't know what I was thinking, because I had to go home to my parents, and they'd be up for sure. They were only like, in their 30s, early 30s. And we smoked this joint, and I got high as a mofo, really high. I had no tolerance. I didn't smoke pot, probably, not at least regularly at that age. Holy shit. I mean, like you go to some stupid thing in the woods and just take a hit of pot with your friends, in 6th grade or whatever. Maybe it's a different era now. I don't know. But in any event, got super stoned. By the time we got back to my house, it was like midnight. We was just cruising around the park. We get there, we come pulling up to the steps, and my house is like this ranch house that's down these stairs, and we pull up on the road. I get out, open the door, and just the smoke comes billowing out of this truck, and I come walking down, and I am just basically tripping out. And my mom is standing at the screen door at the door, and she's just staring at me. And I'm like, hey. My mom's like, "Holy shit, you are so stoned." And she threw me downstairs, and I get downstairs, and there's my stepfather, who, by the way, is a pot smoker. He's sitting in his rocking chair, holding his pipe, and he's rocking in his chair. And Friday night videos was going on, if you remember those back in the day. Like Quiet Riot or something's on there. TV's blasting. He's looking at me. She's yelling in my ear, and the little Shih Tzu we have is barking. And I'm standing there, and I went, woo, boom, and I passed out right in front of these people. right face first, bam. And I can tell you that I can remember them trying to wake me up, and even in my unconscious state, I was like, yeah, I found a bottle of some alcohol in it. Excuse me, in a dumpster. Meanwhile, smelling like, you know, I just crawled out of a bag of weed. So they put me to bed. I wake up the next day, and not much is said. I'm like, that's kind of weird, right? Well, this is not a very long story. And then what happened was, I never heard anything about this again. I never got grounded. Never got grounded. I'm thinking, what in the hell is going on? I later come to find out, in closing, that they went and they had a meeting with the owner of this roller rink and the guard, the dude, the 19-year-old with the truck that gave me a ride home, that got me stoned. They went and met with these two, and come to find out that this rink guard, yeah, he's my dad's weed dealer. Don't you do that again. Don't get my child stoned again. Nothing to be said. Well, I can tell you that dude never gave me a ride home. In fact, he never even looked me in the eye again. But it's something to be said about being young, where you truly don't give a shit, or you just don't get it. Like, your frontal lobe isn't formed enough to even grow a conscience to know, oh, that guy's mad at me because, you know, I had no tolerance for weed. But I never said anything again. But I sometimes I bring it up to my mother just to kind of bust her balls a little bit about how different the times were, that, you know. But if anything else, passing out from weed, I've never even heard of that. But I'll tell you what, my heart rate probably was so nervous from them, like, you know, staring at me while I'm blazing saddles. But anyway, in hindsight, I'd rather my kid have been stoned than him coming home drunk on that bottle of vodka that I claim to have found. Any day. I mean, weed does less damage to you than the Percocets they give your kid when he pulls his tooth, without a doubt. Marijuana does not do that. And this is coming from a guy that I don't even smoke pot. I don't smoke pot. I've never been a pothead, but I occasionally dabbled in it. But I know enough to know that my sister smokes pot, and she'll go out and kick your ass. She'll smoke a joint and go out and set the world on fire. Some people get it done. Pot gets a bad name, you know what I mean? Unless, of course, you're abusing it. If you're abusing it, it's going to make you into a lethargic, apathetic couch potato. But so anyways, if your kid's roller skating, make sure you drug test them. Make sure that you're keeping your eyes wide open, because kids are sneaky little bastards. But that's all I got to say. We're going to call this Friday night rock and roll high. That's what I think it is. And I'll see you episode 11. Take care. I love doing this.